I grew up in a time in the 80s, of course, when a lot of things were not labeled by doctors or medical professionals, but it was labeled over our lives, and some of it was instinctively you felt a certain way. So I always felt like I was not able to do this. I was not good at school. I grew up in a time where teachers would call you stupid. They would seat you in class according to your intellect. That is whether you on a piece of paper, not in life. So from a very young boy, I was always probably back of the class. I was always said to be the guy that will never probably amount to much. I was good with my hands, but not good with academic stuff and what have you. So from a very young, as a young kid, I grew up with that label that I will never be able to do certain things. I'll never be able to write a book, can you imagine that? I'll never be able to travel the world, I'll just be a nobody. And so I always had that over me in life, and I had to, as a young boy, try to deal with that. And I tried to deal with it in a way most teenagers would do, which is with alcohol and the things that are associated with that. But it never truly worked. I mean, it worked for a little bit in that moment, but there was never lasting change. What helped me overcame, ultimately, these insecurities in my life, where today they'll probably have a certain condition attached to it, but what helped me overcome that was the word of the Lord and the Spirit of God in me. That ultimately didn't recondition me, it made me brand new. And ultimately, in labels and limits, is we've got to be careful of what we allow people to speak over us. Of course, when you're a child or a kid, you can't help what people say to you, but that's where parenting comes in, and the parents could bring in positive affirmation over their children. I've learned, even with my own kids now, that I will not allow what people say over them to define them. Never let a label or a limit define you. God defines you. God created you. And when He created you for a plan and a purpose. God never created a failure. He created somebody who will achieve in life. And for me, the whole chapter of labels and limits is almost like the reset button. It's starting with factory settings, God settings over your life, where you can grab hold of it and you could be happy. See, the thing is, as a sinner, I was never a miserable sinner. People have this idea that if you're a sinner, you're miserable. That's a lie. I was the happiest sinner there was, but I was never fulfilled. There's a big difference. When I gave my heart to the Lord, I didn't let humor die. I didn't let happiness go. The joy of the Lord is our strength, the Bible says. But when God is in you and the Spirit of the Lord in you, you have happiness with a sense of fulfillment. So no matter how my day has been, I may have good days, bad days, didn't matter. God is my strength. So the labels and the limits were quickly broken over my life. So I learned the secret of happiness, that it's not stuff and it's not your day, it's in the Lord. And when you walk in the Lord, your labels and your limits are broken. Almost like with a bottle of water, when you break that cap, that's the time you access the best part of it. You can only look from the outside if you don't release the cap. And it's the same thing in your own life. When God is in you, He breaks the seal over your life. And that's why one of the things I mentioned in the book is walking in God's absolute best. We've only got one life to live, one life, and then we face eternity. There at no point living with second best, third best, and just making it. God has His best for you, and He wants us to walk in it.